Yesterday attracts 1,200 plus voters to El Paso at that town hall meeting. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any local coverage there. It doesn't look like he's getting any media coverage. We got more of a blackout going on. But we do have some coverage for him here in Austin. He is in Austin today. Let's go ahead and play that for you real quick.
Governor Rick Perry is now giving a formal endorsement for the White House to Mitt Romney. Perry released a statement praising Romney's hard work and campaign organization. Perry pledged to work to help Romney defeat President Obama in the November election. Well, Perry's endorsement comes on the same day that Ron Paul is touring Texas. Dr. Paul told me in a one-on-one interview that he's not surprised that the one-time GOP leadership candidate would now side with the frontrunner.
Really pretty simple. Well, I'm not surprised because the other candidates all had similar views. He had, I guess, previously endorsed Newt Gingrich, and so that's sort of to be expected because if you look at those three in particular, their foreign policies would be the same, their monetary policy would be the same. They're not as worried about debt as I am.
And later on in the hour, we'll show you more of my conversation with Ron Paul. We talked about why he thinks young voters are responding to his message of freedom and less government involvement in our lives.
Hundreds of people filing into McGoffin Auditorium.
Knowing that this is a Democratic city, Ron Paul coming over here shows like he's interested in El Paso.
To hear a new take on several issues.
Legalization of marijuana?
Immigration.
Please welcome Dr. Ron Paul.
All leading up to this moment. There are some people that say you're out of this race. Do you still have a shot?
Well, of course we do, but we know what the numbers are.
Republican candidate Mitt Romney is currently leading the polls, but Ron Paul told me he's still fighting hard to get your support. So we took your questions straight to him. Who you would choose for a running mate for vice president?
Well, I've thrown out a name. It's premature to do that. You're not supposed to talk like that. The name that popped in my head was Andrew Napolitano. He's a good friend of mine. I think he's brilliant.
What could you or other candidates do to sway those middle-of-the-road voters?
When I talk only to Republicans, my appeal is not as good as I'd like it to be. I think the real goal is not to compromise what you believe in, but to believe in something that brings different groups together.
We have a viewer named Richard. He says, what is he going to do about the veteran administration? The process is too slow for appointments for PTSD.
And give more resources. As a physician and a congressman, I know what they're facing. It's a mess. I want to save the resources, stop fighting all these wars that are undeclared, unwinnable. We need to bring our troops home.
Okay, so you got some fair coverage there, and it looks like Ron Paul did say that he has thought of Judge Napolitano as a possible vice president choice. So that's some news right there. Of course, he's going to have to be making that decision soon because we are going to get him to the presidency. That's what we have to do. Now, so just keep in mind, if you are in Texas, he is going to be in Austin today at 7 p.m. at the University, Austin LBJ Library Lawn, 2313 Red River Street, Austin, Texas, 78705. And tomorrow, if you're in Houston, he'll be out there at 7 p.m. at Hoff Hines Pavilion, 3466 Cullen Boulevard, Houston, Texas, 77204. And again, really, really, truly important, Louisiana District Caucuses are coming up on Saturday, April 28th. That's this Saturday, 8:30 a.m. until 12 noon. So you got to get out there if you're in Louisiana. We need some more delegates. We got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep it going. Pick it up. Okay, Ron Paul is also set to speak. This just came out today at the University of California in San Diego. So this is awesome. Now, I'm going to try to make this, and I'm going to do the best I can for you guys to get in contact with Ron Paul. Hopefully I can ask him a couple of questions. That'll be awesome. Let's see here. Ron Paul has accepted the invitation to speak May 4th at University of California, San Diego from Elizabeth and Paul Goodrich, leaders of UCSD students for Ron Paul. The planned appearance was confirmed by organizers late Wednesday. His planned UCSD visit with a speaking engagement 7 p.m. at the Warren Mall on the north side of the Warren Lecture Hall comes after recent stops at UC campuses that drew thousands of spectators, thousands of fans, thousands of voters, supporters. That's what they are. We're not spectators. Okay, so that's some great news. Also, don't forget that I am on in the morning. You guys can check me out on RonPaulRadio.com from 10 a.m. until noon. This morning we had some good headlines that we were talking about. Let's see here. You guys can check this one out at NolanChart.com. Ron Paul wins 5 delegates in Pennsylvania. Romney officially has 0. Let's see here. Ron Paul has won 5 delegates and at least 10, possibly 12 alternate delegates to the Republican National Convention in Tampa on August 27th. These district candidates were directly elected in yesterday's primary with 99% reporting. Ron Paul finished a distant second to Mitt Romney in last night's primary election in Pennsylvania. Ron Paul had 13% of the popular vote, while Romney took 58%. Even Rick Santorum had more popular votes than Ron Paul, which I was talking about earlier. That right there is just proof that this voting system is a joke. How does Rick Santorum, the guy that dropped out, can't even get anybody to come to his town halls for real? Maybe a dozen. That's about it. But yet he is getting more people to come out and vote than Ron Paul, who's still running and who has the grassroots movement. The numbers are totally fraud. Like I say, numbers don't lie, but the people that report them do. It says here, however, in Pennsylvania, the presidential popular vote is just a beauty contest. It means nothing in terms of which candidate the delegates will support at the Republican National Convention. So let's see, it says Pennsylvania sends 72 unbound delegates to the Tampa Convention along with their alternates. 3 of these are the head state party officials, and 10 at-large delegates will be decided at the state convention, tentatively set for June 10th. The remaining 59 delegates were determined yesterday by popular vote, 3 or 4 delegates from each of the 18 congressional districts. Voters are permitted to vote for a maximum of 3 or 4 delegates on their ballots, but no delegate is allowed to have the candidate he/she supports appear on the ballot beside them. The end result is that without campaign organization, the delegate and alternate delegate selection become a crapshoot. The Paul campaign published its delegate list here. And it does have a good amount of people on the delegate list. Matter of fact, I'll go ahead and click on that right now. Let me see how many's up there. There's a little link that they give you. This was at the NolanChart.com article they have. Okay, so I'm showing here on the Ron Paul 2012 website that the list of delegates is showing quite a few. They got each district, and yeah, there's a good amount. I don't know if I had to take a guess. It's a good amount. So we're picking them up. We're going to keep it moving. Again, if you're in Louisiana, make sure you get out there. We got to give Ron Paul more delegates. Let's see another article. Ron Paul loyalists stepping up to fill campaign agenda. You guys check that out at Bloomberg.com. We talked about that earlier. Just speaking about how Ron Paul is influencing so many people to take over the GOP and take over, the Senate, the Congress, locally, nationally. And that's what we're doing. We've had people on the show. We're going to continue to have more people on the show. It looks like we've got our connection pretty well now. And so we will start getting back to interviews because that's what we need to do. We need to get the word out there of what's going on. So if you're going to these conventions, if you got any fraud that's going on, anything like that, I want to get you on the show. We got to get the word out there. We got to put that in the history books, basically. The truth needs to be known. There's already a lot of fraud going on, and we got that on YouTube, so it's good. It's good to know that, they can't call us crazy. The proof is right there. Just look it up. Okay, and yeah, you guys heard earlier, Rick Perry endorses Romney. Newt Gingrich is dropping out. So, it's a two-man race like it's always been. Now it's finally down to the last 2, like we've been saying it is. And it's time to go head on Romney. It's time to decide no mercy. It's time to just go full charge. That's what I'm trying to tell Ron Paul. If I see him, I'm going to tell him, just demolish this dude. We need a debate. Tell him, get on. Next time you get on air, you say, I want a debate with Romney, MSNBC, CNN, whoever. Pass that word on. We need a one-on-one debate. All right, anyways, I'm Paco, your host. You guys.
We were brought up loving our country. That in the United States of America, we were free. And that's an attitude that we've tried to instill in our children. I met my wife in the Air Force. I was a combat pilot in Vietnam. I served in Desert Storm as a commander. When I graduated from the academy, I took the oath of office. And as a commander, I administered that oath to many people. Now I wonder about the understanding people have of our Constitution, and I think about our candidates for President of the United States. It's interesting to see the support around